And today's video is going to be a little bit different. And typically, I share things that we can do to help us live well with our MS. But today, I'm going to share 8 things we need to stop doing to help us live well with our MS. There are things that we may be doing every day that have a negative effect on us and make living with our MS even harder. Some of these things were really hard for me to stop doing, but with practice and help, I was able to master them. Mostly. Number 1 is to stop feeling guilty. Have you heard the saying that guilt is the thief of joy? The time that we spend feeling guilty about things that are outside of our control with chronic illness does nothing but steal our joy. I want you to listen closely. You did not do anything to cause this disease. You are not to be blamed, and it is not your fault. MS is an uninvited guest into our lives, and it doesn't even pay rent. How rude. And if symptoms get in the way of fully participating in life sometimes, that's not your fault either. Let go of the guilt and try to find other ways to bring in joy. So you can't go water skiing with the kids this spring break, but you can spend time with them playing games and doing puzzles or playing at the beach. The kids will still have amazing memories of being with you. Remember this mantra: I am not the burden. MS is the burden. Everyone I love is sharing its challenges with me. And number 2 is to stop obsessing over having chronic illness. This one was really hard for me, especially when I was first diagnosed. I was caught in the never-ending cycle of what ifs. What if I lose my ability to walk? What if I lose my ability to work? What if I lose my vision? I was so consumed with what might happen in the future that I was missing out on all the wonderful things in my life. It took me over a year to really come to the realization that I was going to be okay and to stop giving away my time to the what ifs. When you find yourself going down the rabbit hole of worrying about what might happen or overthinking about your life with MS, do yourself a favor and say out loud, stop it. Then look around at all the good things in life. It might be a job or a home or family or pets or friends. Try to shift your thinking to the amazing and wonderful parts of life. Shortly after my diagnosis, I took a mindfulness-based stress reduction course that really helped me to be more mindful and present. I also highly recommend working with a therapist. More on that later. Number 3 is to stop caring what other people think. I have another mantra for you. What other people think is none of my concern. Me caring what others think has never ever changed their thoughts. I used to get really frustrated with people who didn't understand. They didn't understand my symptoms. They didn't understand my feelings about living with a chronic illness. They didn't understand how one day I could do something and then the next day I couldn't. I remember early on in my diagnosis, I posted a picture of shoes that I had bought because I was having a difficult time walking in high heels. And I put the caption, "Sensible shoes, mixed emotions." Many of the comments that I got were about how others wore sensible shoes and they loved them, or how there's nothing wrong with sensible shoes, or how in the long run my feet would be happier. I got so mad that they didn't get it. They didn't get that I was mourning the loss of my ability to wear high heels. I was also worried about the future and possibly losing my ability to walk. I felt that they were being flippant and not understanding me at all. I got so frustrated. And in truth, they didn't get it. They couldn't possibly get it because they're not living with MS and they weren't experiencing the loss that I was. It didn't mean that they didn't like me or that they didn't care or that they were trying to hurt me. They simply didn't get it. And me caring about what they thought did nothing for me except bring me more unhappiness. So caring what other people think is just stealing our joy, and it's not going to change them. How does that song go? Let it go, let it go. Number 4 is stop being sedentary. I know. It can be really hard to exercise when we have symptoms that get in the way, but we really need to move our bodies. The less we move, the more likely we are to experience fatigue and muscle loss. In this review of 84 papers on exercise interventions in MS, they concluded that exercise is an effective method for improving fatigue and muscular fitness in patients with MS. I encourage you to make exercise part of your day every day. Find things that you like to do. Walk or weight lift or swim or dance. Mix it up between cardio and strength training to help keep your body as fit as possible. If we become sedentary, we decondition and our symptoms get worse. That old saying of move it or lose it is true. If we stop moving, we have a higher likelihood of losing our ability to move. Try to move purposefully every single day. Number 5 is to stop neglecting your diet. Everything we consume has the ability to help us or harm us. Feeding our body with the most nutrient-dense foods that we can find can help us. When we feed our bodies the best fuel, they operate the best. When we eat healthy, our immune systems are healthier and our inflammation goes down. In this review of diet on disease progression and symptoms, they concluded observational studies show some evidence for an association between diet and MS symptoms, particularly quality of life and disability. They did say that more evidence is needed and more prospective studies, though. One of the largest prospective studies on diet and MS that's been running since 2012 is the Holism study. In 2022, they reported updates from the Diet Habits Questionnaire from over 1,300 participants, and they reported that higher quality of diet scores were associated with lower frequencies of severe disability, fatigue, and depression risk. Yeah, we need to eat like we give a damn. And to dive a bit deeper into this, number 6 is to stop eating processed foods. The Western diet is full of ultra-processed foods pretending to be healthy. Some research is showing that between 60 and 90% of the standard American diet now consists of foods and beverages that are highly processed. Yeah, that's not good. And don't fall for packaging that claims things like healthy, natural, made with whole grains. Read the ingredients list and look for things like bad fats, like trans fats and hydrogenated fats, added sugars, conditioners, artificial flavors and colors, preservatives, and highly processed carbs. Our bodies don't know what to do with a lot of these ingredients, and they end up causing inflammation. In this study on ultra-processed foods and multiple sclerosis severity, they concluded that a higher intake of ultra-processed foods was associated with greater odds of higher MS severity. Try to buy only whole, real foods with one ingredient, like apples and broccoli and beans. And number 7 is to stop smoking. Smoking is bad for everyone, but it is particularly bad for people with MS. In this study, they say available evidence supports cigarette smoking as an independent risk factor for MS susceptibility and associates smoking with a greater chance of developing progressive disease and accruing more rapid disability. No one wants that. And from this article from the Cleveland Clinic on smoking and MS, they say that smoking has direct links to MS disease activity and extensive research showing a clear negative relationship with smoking and overall MS disease course, and is associated with increased MS lesion volume, active brain lesions, and higher risk of brain atrophy. Just how bad is smoking for people with MS? This article from MS Australia says that tobacco smoking increases the risk of multiple sclerosis onset by 50% and increases disability progression by about 55%. Yikes, that's not good. The news is good for those who quit smoking, though. MS patients can have less disease progression after they stop smoking. I'll put some links in the description below to some resources that can help you to quit. Number 8 is to stop ignoring your mental health. Our mental health is just as important as our physical health, and unfortunately, MS comes with an increased risk for depression. Specifically, depression is common. the lifetime prevalence of depression in people with MS is estimated to reach 50%. I myself have generalized anxiety disorder. I started seeing my therapist shortly after my diagnosis, and I still talk with her after all these years. We're not just depressed because we have MS. Depression is a symptom of MS, and it's tied to other MS symptoms too. This review went on to say, we also note that depressive symptoms were generally associated with worse neuroperformance, as measured by walking speed, manual dexterity, and processing speed. Yeah, nobody wants that. Please talk with your doctor about any depression or anxiety symptoms that you may be experiencing and seek the help of a therapist or medication to help. When we live with MS or chronic illness, what we do and what we don't do is important to our overall health and well-being. Are there other things that you quit doing after being diagnosed that have helped you to live well with your MS? I love to hear from my viewers. Please let me know in the comments below. To see more on foods to avoid with MS, watch this video next. And until next time, be well.